Now, with regard to your question, asking me how the family is doing and what's the next move
What can
and
be done?
what
Yeah.
can be done, what can be done, and how the vice president, how what's the feeling right now, the vice president and her statement saying that it was a state kidnapping that happened to her father. So I think I would agree with the vice president that it was like an abduction. It was like a state kidnapping, precisely because there was no due process. There was not due process at all. He was apprehended inside the plane, and then all of his bodyguard, his family, they don't want him to be with him, uh, and then he was drugged to the Villamor Air Base, and even he was hungry and he wants a pizza. The pizza was not allowed to get into the where he is. It took so much time of negotiation just for a pizza. Things like this. It's really, and then he was arrested without a warrant of arrest initially, and then the warrant came late in the evening or around late in the afternoon, and that was crazy for me to witness, because if you're arresting a person, you should have the warrant, or else that is illegal. And then in the process, I think in the ICC process, in arresting someone under the ICC, I think the process is, you will be issued, the warrant will be issued to you, and then you need to be brought to a local court. It did not happen at all. From the airport, he was brought to the Villamor Air Base, and it seems that the plane that will take him to The Hague is already there since the morning. So everything was orchestrated in many ways, and even the vice president was not allowed to see him before he flew to Dubai, then to The Hague. So, and it was really rough in a sense that they did not even prescribe or even showed a courtesy to a former leader, a former president of the country. He was drugged, and even then, and his former executive secretary was handcuffed on the way to the plane. He was handcuffed. I said, why would you handcuff another person who is not a criminal? And the president was, they really want him quickly to be inside the plane and the plane to take off, something like that. It was in the video. So I think I would agree with the vice president that it was like a state kidnapping. And take note also, Fernando, it was a private jet actually that brought
Mm.
former President Duterte to The Hague, but I think was paid by the office of the president, as what the secretary of the ALG have said earlier. But even then, Marcos Jr. denied that they did not cooperate with the ICC. They just followed, and they just cooperated with the Interpol. That was the justification of Marcos Jr. So I think the family is not happy. I think they're angry. And the next step, well, the Filipino people at that moment, at that night, were already on the streets and
Yeah.
clamoring for him not to be brought to The Hague. And at the same time, from that night until now, the whole Philippines, I'm not kidding, Fernando, the whole Philippines is angry, is really, really angry. And there's a
Uh,
simultaneous mass demonstration and rallies all across the country. This is not organized. This is organic. No one
yeah.
organized it. No one. I'm not kidding. Even I, when sometimes they would just message me, Prof. Anna, there is a rally in this city. Oh my God, yeah. Please share in your social media. Okay, I will share. Prof. Anna, we have a rally in Iloilo. Prof. Anna, I mean, like, oh my God, this is like crazy. But really, it's organic. It's not organized because the people are really angry. It's not within
I think
our
that's
values as Filipinos to send an
that's
80-year-old man to a foreign land to be trialed. It's really un-Filipino as well. Beside the
That's one
fact
of
that
the things that surprises me the most. Is one of the things that surprises me the most is when you go on social media, you see everybody in the streets clamoring to bring him back. So there's people crying in the street. It's really touching to see how the whole country is reacting to, well, to seeing their beloved president treated this way after everything that he did for the country. I think that that's what feels so wrong for the people of the Philippines. Now, I want to ask you One last question to leave our viewers with a nice message. What message do you think the president and the Duterte family, the vice president, what message do you think they would want their supporters to hold on to in this particular moment of difficulty? What do you think they would like to say to them?
Um, the message I think that the former president wants the Filipinos and even the world to know is like this. And he said this to the vice president Sara Duterte. He said, I will never surrender. I did not surrender the country. That was the message. I think that he did not surrender the country or the sovereignty of the country to any foreign power or any foreign institution. And he will never do that, even until now. And I think what he said also in yesterday, I think, or 2 days ago, while he was in the plane, that he will continue to serve the country and the Filipino people. So this is the message I think that the Filipinos should be inspired and should take to heart, that, we all need to stand for our country and for our sovereignty, and our sovereignty is non-negotiable. It cannot be negotiated. It's non-negotiable, and we should fight for it. And whoever would want to throw it in the trash, he doesn't deserve to be in power. I mean, Marcos Jr. basically betrayed the whole Philippines, the whole Filipino people, and even our flag. So my question to the Filipino people: does Marcos Jr. Deserve the office of the presidency? Is it okay for us to call him president of the republic, given what he did now? That is a question that I want to pose to every single Filipino who could possibly be watching this in a matter of time.